Hello everyone, welcome to another fun class to go. This is the Hugs for Love bundle. It has this really fun punch. It creates this beautiful label that coordinates with these two images here that you can punch out. And the greetings in here are perfect for all of those Valentine's or just thinking of you encouragement cards. So this bundle is super cute. It's in our new mini catalog, and I have 4 projects to share with you today. Well, not today. I have 4 projects over the next week to share with you. And you can earn this class to go free with a $50 order using the host code that is linked in, or that is in the video description. You can also earn it free with a $100 order, and you're going to get 5 free bonus cards. The 5 free bonus cards may not be with this specific stamp set, but they are 5 bonus cards to inspire you and for you to do whatever you want with it. The third way to earn this class for free is with an order of $150. Now for options 1 and 2, you have to use the host code, but if your order is over $150, please do not use that host code. You're going to start earning some Stampin' rewards, but you're going to get the class kit free. You're going to get the 5 bonus cards, and you're going to get a full package of these antique pearls, which are also brand new in our mini catalog. And all of these are used on all 4 projects that I'm going to share this week. So you get a whole package of those for free, so you'll have plenty left over for other projects. So today we're going to start right off the bat with a cute little treat box. So you'll get the supplies to make this adorable little treat box, and inside, I don't have anything inside because I'm waiting for the Valentine Hershey Kisses to hit the store, but inside will fit 4 Hershey Kisses perfectly. The height of this box is 1, and then let me just do some quick measurements. It is 2 by 2 by 1, so lots of other fun treats will fit in here. So use your imagination, figure out what's fun in here, but this was designed for some Hershey Kisses, which goes along perfectly with our greetings. So let's go ahead and get started with the box. So you're going to need your Simply Scored, or another way to score your cardstock. We're going to start with the bottom of the box. So the bottom of the box is 6 by 6, so it's a square, nice and easy. And then we're going to score it at 1 and 2 inches on all 4 sides. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. I'm going to rotate and do the same, 1 and 2, and keep rotating until we've done all 4 sides. And then we'll be completed with the bottom box, at least for the scoring. This is such an easy box because there's not a lot of measurements, and the measurements you do have to remember are super easy. So we've done all four sides there. Now we're going to do the lid of our box, and for that I'm going to grab a stack of Post-it notes. Now this is only like 4 or 5 Post-it notes, but it's going to help make our box lid just a hair bigger. So I'm going to stick those up on the side, the left side of my Simply Scored, so that when I push my paper up against, there is just a hair gap there. The gap is just whatever the width of this stack of 4 or 5 Post-it notes is. And that's going to just make our box lid fit nice and snugly, but it's not going to be so loose that it's going to just fall off. So it's a nice way to get a nice, sturdy, good-fitting lid. Now this technique only works if you're using a square and if you're scoring equal distance on all 4 sides. So keep that in mind. You can't do this with a rectangle box, but a square box works perfectly. All right, so for our lid, our box lid is 4 by 4, and we are going to score it at 1 inch all the way around, making sure that our paper is butted up against that stack of Post-it notes on the side. So 1 inch all the way around. Now, if you ask me about the science of this technique with the Post-it notes, that I can't help you with. But it works. It's just, it's one of those magic stamping things that works. Okay, you're going to grab a bone folder. You're going to grab some scissors. Let's start with the lid because the lid is easier. So that's your smaller piece. You are just going to fold and burnish on those score lines. And because this is a square, the lid is symmetrical here. So it doesn't matter what side you start on. You can start on any side. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you do to one side, you're going to do to the opposite side. So there's 4 corners on each one, and that's what we're going to notch into. So I'm going to cut some little notches on this little squares, and then on the rectangles, we're going to cut straight up. We're going to make little tabs just like that. So straight up on the rectangles and then notch in on all 4 tabs. Now again, what you did on one side, you're going to flip over and do to the opposite side. So we're going to cut this out, straight up on those rectangles, and then notch in on the 4 square tabs on the outside. Just do that. There we go. All right, so that is our lid. So if you need to pause it or take a screenshot of it now. So the lid is super simple. It really goes together fast. All right, now for the bottom of our box. This one's also pretty simple, but we are making reinforced sides. And that's going to add a lot of stability to our box. And when we put the lid up, take it on and off, it's going to keep that stability. It's not going to, the sides are going to stay nice and sturdy. So let me show you what I mean. So we have like double walled sides, so they're nice and sturdy. So as the lid keeps going on and off and pushing those corners in or pushing the sides in, those sides are going to stay nice and straight and pristine looking because they are double walled there. If you wanted to skip this step, you could actually make the bottom and the top the same size. You would just cut that top with those Post-it notes like I showed, but you wouldn't use the Post-it notes to cut the bottom. But I prefer the double walled one. I think it just adds to the completion of it. It just makes it look a little better. Okay, so again, what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other side. So I'm going to start on one side. It's a square, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to cut up all of the vertical lines, stopping at the second one. Now I know that black is not typically the best to make boxes for on camera because it's really hard to see the score lines. So I'm going to just try to explain this as best I can because I know the score lines are going to be difficult to see. Okay, so I've cut up all 4 of those score lines here. All right, now we are going to cut off the outside ones completely. I'm just going to cut those off. So we're going to cut those off completely. So this is what we have so far. Now our next tab that we're going to work with, I'm going to fold this middle one out of the way and we are just going to cut off the top tabs. Just like that. So we're left with just squares. And then just go in and notch these little squares while that middle section is still out of the way. That one I didn't get well enough. There we go. All right. Now we're going to bring our middle section back in and we are just going to notch in on this one. Okay, so that is one side. So I'm going to flip it over and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to cut up those score lines, stopping at that second score line. We're going to do that to all 4 score lines. Okay, and one more. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the sides. We don't need these little corner pieces. All right, and then I'm going to fold up the center one and we're going to cut these off. And then we're going to go in and notch on these. All right, and the final step is to notch in on the outside of this one. All right, now we do need to rotate this once more to this side now, because we have some straight edges here and we need to just notch those in just like we did the outsides tabs on the opposite side, just to help those fold in just a little better, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Okay, so that is what, I'm gonna turn it over. That is what the bottom of your box should look like. I'm gonna clean up all of this trash real quick. And while I was talking, I noticed some of my supplies hit the floor, so I'm going to pick those up real quick. So hang on one second. Okay, let's start assembling. So we have the lid, we have the bottom of the box. Now you can use whatever strong adhesive you want. I think I'm going to pull out my tear and tape for this. Let me grab that. All right, let's start with the lid. Use whatever strong adhesive you want. I'm going to use a couple pieces of tear and tape on all of the tabs here. And I'm just going to go around. Tear and tape is a really good strong adhesive. If you don't like our our Stampin' Seal Plus. I know that tape runners like that, tape dispensers, sometimes people kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. Believe me, I have a love-hate relationship with my tape dispenser, but tear and tape is a really good option. It's super strong and it's easy to use. So we're going to pull off the backings on all of those. So let's grab these. Now the lid is super simple to put together. And before we start adhering it, I'm going to pull off the backings, but before you add adhesive, we're going to go back and do one step. So don't be like me. Do it before you add adhesive. On my lid, I have little finger notches here. I don't know if you can see that there. So little finger notches, and we're actually going to use the punch for that. So on the sides with the little tabs, I'm going to use our punch, and I'm just going to put it in just maybe like 3/8 of an inch, not really 1/2 an inch, but we're just getting that little angle piece there. And I love this, the edge of this. It just makes it look that much more fancy. Now, if you want to mark center, you can. I'm just eyeballing it, but you can absolutely mark center if you want to, just make sure it's nice and center. I'm not going to do that, but you could. All right, so we have our pieces punched, and now you would put adhesive on all of them. And we're going to go around, and we're just going to adhere this score line to that cut edge. And we're just going to go around all 4, and that will be our lid. So super simple for our lid. All right, and last one. And I'm just going to grab my bone folder and just make sure everything is nice and stuck. Okay, so there's our lid. Now for our for the bottom of our box, I'm just going to put some adhesive on these. I'm just going to put one piece because these tabs are going to be held in place by the pieces of fold over. So this is on the outside of your box. Your box is folding in this way. You want to put the adhesive on the tabs on the outside, then flip it over to the inside of the box. And we are going to put some adhesive on all of these outside tabs, all 4 of these outside tabs. Okay. All right, last one. All right, perfect. All right, now before we take off this adhesive, we're going to flip it back over, and we're going to take off the adhesive from these little tabs back here. We're going to get our box put together, but with the tabs before we fold in those extra pieces, those outside pieces. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna do the same general thing. We're gonna line up this score line with this cut edge right here. So just like that. So your little, the pieces with the adhesive should be above the box. So they're kind of sticking up above the box. Okay, that one goes there, and the last one goes there. Perfect. So let's get our bone folder in there, make sure everything is just nice and secure. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna fold these back just to expose all that adhesive, and we're just gonna go around and take off this adhesive. It's easier said than done. Typically, I like to use my my Tombow multi-purpose glue to make boxes. I think it's really strong. It holds the best. But for this kind of box, we would have had to use lots of clothespins to hold it together, or we would have just had to hold it for a while to hold it together. So I think this is a little bit quicker. All right, so we have all of our adhesive exposed, and then you're just gonna go around and fold those over, just like this. All right, now go in with your bone folder and just make sure everything is nice and burnished. And this is gonna give you a really clean look inside. Not only is it gonna add to the stability of the box with that double walled side, but it's going to give you a nice clean look. You're not going to see any tabs. All the tabs are hidden, and so whoever you give this to, your recipient, it's just going to look that much more professional. All right, and our lid slides right on just like that. Perfect, right? All right, I have a piece of brand new DSP. This is from the Ocean Friends DSP. It is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 is just a square. You can see little ocean guys on the back of that. It is such a cute DSP, so I'm just going with this little wavy pattern. That one's all gone. Let me grab another one. There we go. I'm just going with this little melon mambo wavy pattern. I think that is just super pretty. We're just going to adhere that on. Now I have die cut, I'm trying to find the dies real quick. I've die cut a heart from the Hearts of Elegance dies. These were released in an online exclusive in November, I believe. So I've die cut this one, and there's lots of detail on that. I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up on camera, but there's lots of like stitch detail on it that I think is really pretty. And I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And we're just going to stick a couple on the back, and this will go right on the top of our box. Now it's at this point that you need to decide, do you want your wavy lines going this way or this way? So I'm going to have them going horizontal, and I'm just going to stick my heart, and the heart is die cut in Bubble Bath. All right, let's do our greeting. Let's bring our little box over here so we know what we're looking at. Let's do our greeting, or the rest of our stamping. So we're going to stamp one of those frames. I just have a scrap piece of white here, and this is Melon Mambo ink. And I'm going to stamp one of the frames. Super cute, right? Now this is going to be a little bit too big for our box, so we're just going to do some quick modifying with it. So I'm going to grab my punch, and we're going to punch it out. Just make sure you line up those heart points on the top and the bottom. I'm going to punch that out. And let me move that out of the way. And then we're just going to do some trimming. So I'm just going to pretty much just trim these off, and we'll do some more trimming once we have our greeting. But these are the little pieces that we want. Okay, let's finish up with our stamping. So I have some, just a scrap of basic white cards, or not basic white, this is basic black. It's about 3/4 of an inch. We're going to do some quick embossing. We're going to emboss our greeting in white. So I'm going to get my Versamark out. I have my embossing powder out, my white embossing powder. I'm going to use my little embossing buddy and just kind of swipe it over, especially when you're embossing on black cardstock. You want a nice crisp line, and if you don't use that embossing buddy, the white might go everywhere. Now this is just barely going to fit, so I'm going to pull this down just to make sure I can see it. Okay. So I stamped it with the Versamark, so it's a clear ink, so you're probably not going to see it on camera until I get it covered with the embossing powder. So I keep my embossing powder in little containers. I have little scoops. You can use little spoons. So there's our embossing powder on there. But it just makes it's quicker than having to dump it and then re-put it back in the jar. It's just a quicker little option if you do a lot of embossing. It's something you might want to look into. Okay, I'm going to pull out my heat tool. Now I'm going to let this heat up for about 20 to 30 seconds off the paper. It's going to melt the powder so much faster if you just let your embossing tool heat up. If you let it heat up on your paper, it could warp your paper or over melt your embossing powder. Once you see that embossing powder start to melt, that's when you want to stop. So I'm going to bring it back to the paper, and hopefully the camera will pick this up, but you should see it start to go glossy. It should turn into from a powder to a gloss. And once it's all nice and glossy, you want to stop. Isn't that pretty? So now it's like shiny and glossy. Let it cool down for just a second. And I'm going to move my heat tool back out of the way and wipe off any of that extra embossing buddy. Isn't that cute? All right, let's grab that punch again. And I'm going to feed this through. Actually, I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to pull it out this way like this. And then I'm going to just kind of finagle it because I just want those little points on each side. Just like that. So I'm going to punch that. So now we have a nice little border edge. And we're going to do the same thing this way. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to pull it out this way. We're just going to kind of finagle it where we want it to go. And now we have a little unique border on the edge of our greeting. It's a really quick, fun way to just add some more interest to your project. All right, a little bit of adhesive on the back of this, and we're going to stick these on. So, whoop, not so far. I just want the hearts to be on the top and the bottom, and I know that we got some pieces hanging off here, but that's okay. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm just going to trim off the edges just like this. So I'm just kind of putting it between the black and the white cardstock, and I'm just trimming it just like that. My camera focuses. There we go. We're going to do the same thing to the top. We're just going to add that little heart there to the back, and we'll just grab the scissors. So it looks like these are custom shapes that we made when really we just used the punch in some different fun ways. to really get those on there. All right, so this goes on, of course, with dimensionals. I'm just going to use a couple dimensionals. We'll stick those on the back. And this goes onto our box. Oh, there we go. Make sure it's right side up. Just kind of bottom right there. And then we're just going to finish it off with some of these antique pearls. So I'll stick one here. And we'll use a couple of the smaller ones. One here, maybe one here. And that completes your sweet little Hershey Kiss box. Isn't it adorable? So this box will hold, like I said, 4 Hershey Kisses, or the little Hershey Hugs and Kisses. You can do some of the hugs in there as well as the kisses, but super cute little box. It's 2 by 2 by 1, so if you find other treats, it'll fit in there. So this is a great little gift for anyone this Valentine's. Remember, if you want to get this class to go for free, all you need to do is place an order in my online store using the host code. All the details are in the video description, and you can find pictures and more details on my blog, which is also linked in the video description. If you have any questions, please let me know. The deadline to order this class is January 15th. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe to my video so that you never miss another video, including the other 3 cards featuring the stamp set that I have coming up for the rest of the week, and more classes to go. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.